Adam Smith was a communist. Now, that's not what the fake news media is gonna. Oh, wait. We are fake news media. So that is what we're gonna be telling you. And you know why? It's because of our expert points that we have. Number one, Adam Smith. Now, if you rearrange the letters of Adam Smith, add in new letters, and replace old ones, you get communist. That's an undeniable fact that the mainstream media, like before it's news, will not report. Second, you see this book, Wealth of Nations? Yeah, that's satire. Adam Smith wrote this as a satire book because if we do the same thing we did with Adam Smith, we can see that this actually translates to this book is a joke. Unfortunately, many Americans and so-called economic scholars have thought of this as an actual legitimate work, when in reality, this is all satire. Adam Smith never liked capitalism.
What are your opinions on the big DJ's historical capitalist policies, especially in regards to imperialism in Cambodia, also known as Colombia?
Now, if you don't know, the big DJ does a lot of his economic reforms in Trump Tower, and so this naturally influences his imperialism. Now, of course, we must stop this capitalist imperialism. Now, we don't exactly know to the extent of what Cambodia has become more capitalist after the Soviets fell and it relocated to Southeast Asia. However, we just simply do not know the extent.
Could you please tell me about your experience and your childhood trauma from Adam Dostoevsky Smith, like sneaking into your home at night and placing hidden communist reforms into your fridge?
Well, as you know, I don't actually have a lot of experience with that because whenever he would come, Ionafan, the Belarusian man, he would always stop him since Ionafan always comes to our houses at night. Now, I have had a few experience as a grown adult as Ionafan has gotten older. However, by far the most shocking actually happened when I was 12. Now, this was a while ago, back in the 1950s. So there I was listening to my records. It was late at night. My parents told me, turn down that noise. Anyway, so what happened was I snuck out to get another record, and that's when I saw him, Adam Smith. And here he was with all his communist memorabilia. Now, this was the 50s, so this McCarthy soon went and wrestled him. And there was a huge wrestling ring in my kitchen, so that's where they wrestled.
Could you tell me about how Adam Smith gained the nickname Dostoevsky?
He gained that nickname because of his communist reforms. Now, while these communist reforms have been lost to us, and the non-fake news media will tell you that they don't exist, they definitely do exist. Some of them were placing a price limit on grain. Now, this is obviously a bad thing. Now, what happened was that many of these were lost in a giant fire, the Great Fire of Chicago. Now, Chicago is located in Cambodia. It's Chicago in the USA is just simply an imposter. Now, his communist reforms have very much been important to us to this day.
Could you describe how Adam Smith's economic reforms, especially in the Spanish Revolution, caused Spain to sink into the ocean and just cease existing?
Now you see, Spain, you're actually very much wrong, because Spain never existed. And that lie is actually perpetrated by Adam Smith himself. Now, during the Spanish Revolution, which was actually in a completely unrelated Spain, located in modern-day Oregon, many of them took heed to Adam Smith's words. Now, Adam Smith is a Type 1 political entity, so that would obviously make sense.
Oh, yeah.
However, still, it's very shocking to see that his reforms were implemented very early on. Obviously, they all failed, so that's what's going to happen. But still, very interesting.
So, Adam Smith, you said he's a type 1 political entity. So, are we talking Petri-maternal, Formal technique, or a third one that's less known?
He is. It's actually very hard to say. We don't have good data on precisely what type he is. There have been many studies conducted to figure out what he is. However, the most generally accepted answer, which is still very contested, is that he is of the Petri-maternal.
And do you know if Danatan from Cambodian University, is he researching this? Do you know?
Last time I heard from him was 15 years ago. He briefly mentioned it in a phone conversation we were having. I should really talk to him sometime.
So most scholars believe that Adam Smith played some sort of a role in the Iowan corn invasion of 1453. Do you know anything about this and its connections with the 1453 fall of Constantinople?
Well, according to ancient records, we can see that Adam Smith was definitely alive back then. And it's actually very obvious because when you look at Mehmed the Great and, do the same thing we did for Adam Smith in Wealth of Nations, you can see that it clearly represents Adam Smith. And you know what that leads to? Communism, which gives us proof that the Ottoman Empire was communism, perhaps inherited from Prester John's communist kingdom.
Do you know anything about Prester John's communist kingdom?
Very little is known about Prester John's communist kingdom. It was believed to have been founded in 600 AD, however, fully became communist in around 1300 AD. I don't have specific sources for that, so take that as what you will.
Do you know if the ancient DJ Staney people, sorry, just one more question. Do you know if they ever interacted with Adam Smith or if they were able to defend themselves against his armies?
Adam Smith never really commanded any armies. He was more of a wandering trader. Given that he probably would have been in Central Asia during the time, it's definitely possible that that interaction could have happened. However, it would have been very brief and probably not even worth writing about.
Can you tell me about Macsasisiht's economic policies?
Well, a lot of people have been asking us about this because Macsasisiht is also a resource available to the public. We've been using it to save money, and so can you. Just check out our website in the description. Now, as for Macsasisiht's specific policies, it's very hard to describe to someone who doesn't know economics, so we're not going to tell you that.
Can you describe at least how it merges bankruptcy with communism?
Well, you see, bankruptcy communism is a very interesting idea that Adam Smith proposed. Now, obviously, he did this in code, like we've seen with Adam Smith and Wealth of Nations, but it basically states that the state cannot function communism without the bankruptcy of influential people in power. Now, since we're talking about economic theories, if you're a capitalist watching this, then be a capitalist and donate to Macsasisiht. If you're a communist, then share the wealth and give us your money. If you're a socialist, make sure not to lock your doors tonight.